Access Health Connecticut Shop Advisory Committee. Again, let me remind you that first few times you speak, that you introduce yourself so that we can sort of figure out who's talking. To begin, I guess I'd like to have a call of the roll.
Grant Ritter,
Here.
Pamela Rosick, Matthew Katz,
Here.
Paul Philpott, Kevin Galvin, Alan Skinner, Shelley Sweet, Paul Lombardo,
Here.
you, and Christopher McKinnon.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any public comment?
There's no public comment, Mr.
No
Chair.
public comment? Okay. We'll move on to the next one. Could I have a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting? Some member?
I was not at the last meeting, so I feel uncomfortable making the motion or voting on them. I was going to abstain on the minutes, but I'll go ahead and make a motion so we can vote on them. So I
Okay.
move that approval.
All right.
And
Thank you.
Paul Lombardo, I second it.
All right. Thank you. Okay.
I think Mr. Lombardo is the subject matter expert.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Can I
Sorry about
second?
that.
I second it.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Chris. Okay.
Mhm.
So could we have a vote? Oh, are there any comments or, edits? Okay, let's have a vote on it then.
Grant Ritter,
Yes.
Pamela Rosick, Matthew Katz,
Abstain.
okay, Kevin Galvin, Alan Skinner, Shelley Sweet, Paul Philpott, Chris McKinnon.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, now the main reason for the meeting. I'll turn it over to John to give us a review of our enrollment.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Throughout this presentation, we're going to talk a little bit about the group numbers for SHOP and our standalone dental product. And then at the end of this meeting, Ben from Mince and Hoke is going to go over some of our marketing campaigns that we've done over the past quarter. If you have any questions throughout the entire meeting, don't hesitate. Mostly the structure is going to be, we're going to be showing you year over year growth and projections. So if you have any questions about any of that information, or you'd like to see some additional information, don't hesitate one bit. As many of you know, our Anthem and Connecticut product lines, they offer about 11 products on our platform. Year over year, we have had a 34% growth in our group numbers. We currently have 485 groups, currently up from 632. Our subscribers are up about 19%, right around 1301. Our total membership is around 2313, which is up about 52%. So we're continuing to grow these numbers and go out. Our average size group is getting bigger little by little. We feel like we'll be able to expand on these numbers throughout the year and continue to grow them. We're heading in that direction as we continue to get more support from our broker community and more expanding out on the marketing campaigns that we're doing out also. So does anybody have any questions on the SHOP enrollment? Yeah, Matt.
Thank you. A few things. We now have a significant enough membership that I think we can report on some additional metrics that may be beneficial to us, since there are 11 different product types. Having an understanding of what one's groups, subscribers, and or members are participating in would be helpful. I mean, before, quite frankly, the volume wasn't there. It didn't really matter. But I think we've got a substantial enough volume that it would, I think, benefit us in helping advise you to see a little more about whether or not they're it's spread out consistently, or there's only a few that they're really focused on. So I'm not, it'd be interesting to see Anthem versus Connecticut in total, and then the types of product lines individually, so we have a better understanding. Because I don't know if this is all Anthem in one product or if it's Anthem and Connecticut in all 11.
So we have a few more slides. We'll be able to show you some demographic breakdown between male, female. We should be able to show you some carrier breakdown. I'm not really sure on this one. We usually did have the breakdown between product lines, but we will add that back into that. We do have a breakdown based on county and city too. So as we go through it, you just take a peek, and I know the one with the product types, we'll make sure that we add that in for you so you have that information.
Thank you. And one other request, I did review the rest of the slides in advance, is also maybe having a type of subscriber or member group, if we know what they represent, what area of the market. Not just geographic, but are they light industry, heavy industry? Are they medical? Are they, accounting, legal? Just having if we
SIP
have
code.
it, if we have it.
SIP code. Yep.
If we don't, I understand.
So I'll explain that towards the at the end of the presentation on what we're going to be doing, moving on to the new platform, and how we're going to be able to grab some more of that information that's readily people don't populate. We're going to try to make it easier for them to populate it, and we are going to populate that information too for the individuals who haven't at the moment.
That's great.
So we are going to work on getting the SIC codes up and
Thank
going.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Great question. Thanks, Matt. All right, next slide. Well, as we were talking, our shop demographic pretty much is even between males and females throughout there. So we do have a great balance between the males and females throughout all segments. As underwriters want to see, they want to see that bulk of that membership. Between that 19 and 35, we have a good blend between 19 and 54. But between the product line being male and female, we have a great balance of that in our shop demographics. Marcian, next slide. All right, so where are our shop clients? So we broke this down by city and county. As many of you can see, New Haven County, kind of between Hartford, New Haven, and Fairfield, as we always talked about, that belt line is kind of where a bulk of our membership is and where our shop clients are. We're still going to continue to work on those counties, the New Londons, the Litchfield, the Middlesex. We feel that we have some great opportunity in the Middlesex County to grow some more additional business, and also in the New London County and Litchfield. We're not going to ignore Tolland and Wyndham. We're still going to be super focused in those areas. And what we're doing is we're starting to collaborate a lot with the local chambers there, local associations, and we're also going to be doing some more outreach in there. And I think some of the new marketing campaigns that we have coming out in the future are going to help us do that, especially with some of those brokers in those communities also. So does anybody have any questions with this slide?
No.
All right, thanks. Next, Marcin. So we wanted to basically create a balance and show what our renewals are, what renewal book of business is by brokers, and our new cases that are coming in the door. Currently, right now, 59% of our book of business that has grown over the past 6 to 8 months has been coming in from brokers. 41 have been coming directly to us. We'd like to see a better balance of this, of brokers going in there, because I always feel like the brokers have a great value and going to be able to help these brokers, help these employers looking at different products. But this just shows that our internal team has developed a skill set to be able to manage those cases and come through. But we're hoping to have this number changed as we continue to work, and especially with launching of the Broker Academy, because we want to make sure that our clients are getting the professional time they need regarding understanding contribution structures, understanding different types of traditional concepts and sales concepts, that they can offer multiple plans and spend that necessary time. Our team can spend as much time as we need with them, but a broker is going to be able to give them that step, that bigger step. Our book of business currently is sitting in there under our renewals. We have 78% of that book of business is driven by brokers, and only 22% is. That is slightly down by 2% from the last time we did this. So that has changed a little bit. Again, we like to have as many brokers on the book. It just makes life easier for us. It helps us kind of, have the clients understand the products, and, the brokers can spend a little more time with them and have those employers feel as comfortable as they possibly can with those, with that book of business, with their renewal or even new business cases.
Okay. Can I ask a question on that?
Yeah.
So we're seeing a bit more of a drop off on those that come through directly to the exchange on the renewals. Is that what this is showing?
Yeah, so that is what this is showing. But here's what when I saw that number too, Matt, I kind of had a little bit of I wanted to look into the number. These are really those micro groups that are being.
That's what I was just going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was going to ask, maybe what would be more helpful is to break this down by group type
Yep.
or group size, because this doesn't really reflect, I mean, if brokers don't often deal with the one or two, right? They're dealing with often bigger groups. But
Yeah.
if the one or two are coming through the exchange direct and they're the ones dropping off, it would be helpful to know that by group size. This just tells me there's a drop off, but doesn't tell me who. So it'd really be good to look at this in the future by group type, since again, we've got more volume than we've had in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can also let you know that on our renewals, we're right now at about 88% retention on those renewals. So that's helping us grow too. But I agree with you too. I think now we can start peeling this back a little bit more. And maybe on the next one, we can have those numbers for you guys and be able to demonstrate them and show you through.
And do we do a exit survey or why you didn't renew survey?
So we try to take down as much information as the broker's willing to share with us or the employer's willing to give us the time of the day to tell us. They are required to send in a termination letter. Probably a small percentage of them do tell us what they're doing. But as you know, a lot of things have been shifting in the small group market. Self-funded products have become very dominant, I would say, in this. Maybe they're just become a little more appealing right now. So groups are looking really into those, but not everybody is doing anything below 5, I think, currently right now. Could be wrong. Maybe
Correct.
it's 5 or 10.
No, I think it's around 5 is where they
5?
start looking at that. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Yeah, so around 5. So we have in January, kind of some of that fall off came with that. So we do know that. So the self-funded has been kind of something that's been knocking on our door a little bit.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Next slide. So one of the other products that we handle in our book of business is our standalone dental product on the individual side. And what we wanted to do is this one is a little bit different than the other. We did 2-year, year over year. We're showing our growth over the next, 4 years, from 4 years in a bucket. And as you can see, we've been paying, as much attention as we possibly can to this and making sure that, each individual member on the group side and on the individual side understand that they do have an option to a standalone dental plan for themselves. So as you can see, we've had some great growth year over year, about 22%. And for the first time ever on a standalone dental plan, we've come a little over 5,165 members. This is the very first time. So we're very excited with the trajectory and with some of the new platform that is going to be coming up. We feel that we'll be able to make some significant growth with this over the next couple of years. And we'll stay tuned on that. We'll have some more information on that. But also below, it's just a little, you get to see what the demographics looks like. It's really kind of well balanced. Under 19, there's no reason for them to be on a standalone dental plan because this stuff is baked into their the medical plan. Connecticut also does offer a product on the individual side up to the age of 26 with some basic stuff. But even with those types of products and some of those individual medical plans, we were able to see some significant growth in that membership. So we're really excited on the direction this is going in, and we're hoping to expand some of, we're hoping to expand some of the membership over the next year or so. So just like everything on the group side, we kind of want to know where our standalone enrollment is, and it follows suit. Just like on the individual side, just like on the group side, it's down the Beltline of Fairfield, Hartford, New Haven. New London has made its way up there. So we're going to, again, do the same thing here on the standalone dental side with the marketing team and the outreach team and our broker support team. We're going to continue to make sure we make people aware, especially individuals in these counties, that, this product is available to them. It's at a good price point. It is an extremely rich product. So there could be some great opportunities. There is some waiting periods in there, but if they had consistent dental, those waiting periods are waived completely. So that's a great part. They can go right into benefits, which helps them out, tremendously.
Great.
Yeah, Matt.
This is Matt again, and I'm sorry to be asking so many questions, but what's interesting to me here is that 6 of the 7, or I think it's 6 of the 7 top cities are all in Fairfield. We didn't see that with the medical, and we see Fairfield being above Hartford and New Haven here. And I'm just curious why there's such a big differential between the medical and the dental, with Fairfield taking such a strong lead, not only by county, but by city.
So we did take a look at that. Stanford was the outlier for us that we were kind of going, wow, almost double. So we wanted to look into that. We are looking into that. So probably at the next meeting, we will have a little more understanding about what the breakdown of this and why. Sometimes it's just an anomaly, but we can basically, at the next meeting, hopefully have some more answers for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So with that being said, just the kind of Matt Katz brought up a question on SIC codes, and on the next thing, over the next 6 to 8 months, we're going to be working on our new shop platform, and we're going to be rolling it out and making some enhancements. And one of those enhancements is to pick up these types of identifiers of, their SIC codes. It helps us understand, who we're dealing with. Like right now, I could basically off the top of my head let you know that we're very heavily in retail, medical, and restaurant services and veterinarians. We do very well in those type of 4 segments across the board, in manufacturing also too, those 5. But I think with the new platform coming up, we're going to populate that. So every single one of our groups will always have an SIC code. So we'll be able to track that data a little bit more. As we're growing, Matt's 100% correct. We need to start expanding these price points out. We need to start expanding, not the price points, but we need to start expanding on the data so we understand where we need to go hunting. Matt, still got a question? There you go. All right.
No, I'm sorry. I forgot to
That's
take it off.
okay. That's okay. Thank you for all the questions today. We truly appreciate it, and welcome back. So right now I'm going to turn it over to Ben. Ben is from Minson Hope. So Ben, take her away.
Thanks, John. Thank you, everybody. Just want to introduce myself again quickly. Ben Cadwell from Minson Hoke. Today, what we're going to be talking through is an update on performance measurement for the most part for a lot of these slides that we're going to go through at a high level. In the last meeting, we shared an overview on the work done to date from a marketing campaign standpoint and gave a look ahead for the rest of the year. But right now, we want to focus on, at this point, we were able to collect a lot of the data, the information for the first half of the fiscal year. So we wanted to spend some time to give you a high-level breakdown on that. When we're looking at these numbers, I think it's important to note that everything is, for the most part, July to December 2021, unless it's otherwise noted. So keep that in mind as we're looking through some of the slides. Really quickly, just to start to lay some framework for the marketing campaign. We have an integrated approach that we've been rolling out for the past 7 to 8 months, focusing on reaching small business owners and brokers through a mix of tactics: paid media tactics, earned media tactics, meaning PR and outreach, owned media, updating the website, email, things like that, and shared media being social media. Campaign goals still continue to be really building further awareness of SHOP in order to grow new membership through increased leads and connections and retention, of course. And also, as John talked about, increasing leads and connections with the broker community. Media campaign timing from a paid standpoint really is focused around starting in the October timeframe, going right up until the end of the fiscal year. And as you see on the right here, this is an example of our creative campaign that we've talked about in the last meeting. Really, what's called Coming Together, centered around the Access LCT small business team out in the community, supporting employers and employees as a trusted partner and resource. So just an overview on the campaign in general. So we can jump to the next slide. So for a performance snapshot, we just wanted to pull out a couple key numbers on here. So what we're looking at on the left side is overall digital advertising. So this is, again, for that 6-month period, the first half of the fiscal year, where we have about 6 to 7 different campaigns running between different media partners and publishers. So that's the digital advertising portion. On the right side, we have paid search, because that's obviously an important tactic that we consider as part of the media mix here. And then the bottom is overall website activity, just a couple key numbers I would point out. So I'll walk through these really quickly. Impressions that you'll see as the first number on both sides is anytime an ad is served from a digital reach of a campaign. So over 4 million impressions were served from a digital standpoint over this period, 26,000 from paid search. And then we have clicks, which then calculates to a click-through rate. So that's a percentage that's calculated between those two, driving over into whatever we're driving the user. So in this case, a lot of the activity is driving over to the shop website, so that we're hoping people can engage with the different plans that are available or request more information to speak to a member of the team. For context, as what we're looking at here, for an average benchmark that we recently reported around this, we're at the benchmarks in the industry are about 0.10 from a digital advertising standpoint. So obviously we're above that at 0.18. And from a paid search standpoint, it's averaging around 3.0. So we're a little bit above that on benchmarks standpoint on both of those. From a website activity standpoint, we have 12,000 sessions, so users that are actively engaged in a session on the website, and a little under 8,000 events. What that events is comprised of is any time that a user is downloading something on the website, playing a video, submitting a contact form. So it shows it's a lever that we use to show engagement on the site and activity beyond just clicking onto the site. I'll also call out too, just really quickly on that last number on the website activity with sessions and events. Those are on par with the previous report and the previous campaign around this. So they're up slightly. But overall they're tracking when we benchmark against ourselves. We can jump to the next slide. So there's a lot of content on here. We wanted to provide a snapshot of the campaign brought to life through a number of different tactics on here. There's many more beyond this, but it gives you an idea of what the creative looks like when it's brought to life out in the community. For instance, if you look at the top right, we have a picture of an outdoor activation at Parkville Market in Hartford, where we have a unit wrapping a billboard. We have social ads that are running. We have Pandora ads over to the right. We have an example of a billboard that's located in New London. In the bottom right, in the middle section, there's an example of a quarterly newsletter that is in development. We have an updated brochure content. We have advertorials that we're developing and articles. That's those examples towards the bottom. And then over the left side, you'll see a couple other digital examples between different publications that we're running right now, as well as streaming TV. We can jump to the next slide. So reach by medium, just to give a further breakdown as to the number of impressions that were delivered over that 6-month time frame, it totals out to, I want to say, about 20 million different impressions. And the way that we've looked at this is audience targeted to contextually targeted, meaning the tactics like TV and outdoor are going to be more contextually targeted, whereas some of the more radio, digital, social, digitally heavy tactics are more audience targeted, where we're able to really build in a number of targeting parameters with campaigns like search and social and digital. So they may have less impressions, but they have a tighter focus in on the specific audience that we're looking to reach. But with the contextually targeted tactics, we have an ability to build greater awareness across multiple audiences as well. So there's benefits to both sides. The broadcast targeting is focused on business content. So we've aligned ourselves with TV sponsorships and radio sponsorships so that we're aligning with business information. Billboard locations were selected for their proximity to vital small business neighborhoods. For additional information, there New London, New Haven, Middletown, and Newington, and then we're going to also rotate in some new locations in the coming months to make sure that we're covering a number of different communities. And Facebook and LinkedIn campaigns were also each built to reach small business owners across all industries. John covered a lot of them, but just to call it a couple: restaurant services, medical and dental, construction, auto, and transportation and retail are a couple key ones that we've honed in on there. So we can jump to the next slide. So we want to provide a snapshot of the website performance over that 6-month period. So as you look at this, you'll see that there's a little bit of a lower activity, and these are sessions that we're looking at in the chart here. And it starts to increase as we start to increase the tactics from a paid media standpoint in the months around October and November, with some spikes in December. Some of the reasons for some of the jumps and certain points in December were called out to the bottom right there. We had some new campaigns put into motion. We rotated in some new display ad creative to try to make sure that we're continue to optimize against the campaign. We restarted a paid search effort, and we also saw some traffic from earned media, which I'll talk a little bit on the next couple slides. You can jump to the next slide.
I had a quick question. This is Matt. Can we go back
Yep.
one for a sec? The average time on the site being a minute, is that consistent with norms, inconsistent?
Definitely consistent with what we've seen in the past reports on it. There are certain pages that have a higher time average session duration than others. When users are going to the shop plans page, they are engaged there and looking at the different plan information, so it tends to be a little bit longer there. Some users will come in through some paid media efforts and may get to the site, scroll the homepage, and immediately exit. And we expect that to happen, of course, but there are several users that are engaged. So the bounce rate, I think, is at a relatively healthy standpoint at around 60% too. So users are staying and not immediately leaving.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, so also another snapshot on PR coverage. So we saw a lot of coverage towards the end of 2021 for the most part. And some of the outlets that did report coverage were El Sol News, Patch, Connecticut News Junkie, WTNH, WFSB, and a couple websites for the Connecticut House Democrats. We did distribute one press release around the employee participation waiver period, which had some pickup. That's the majority of those outlets and the pickup that happened over those final months of 2021. You also see here on the right, there's a couple snapshots of Franco Barrero, who had some great interview opportunities with some of these networks, WTNH, WFSB, also CT News Junkie. So that's something where we started to see traction, and we expect to see some more traction on that over the coming months as well. When you look at some of the reach that was coming out of some of these PR efforts, we had about 670,000 potential impressions based on the coverage and the reach of these different publications. And for key message pull through, which we define as the percentage of all conversations about a particular message, there are a couple key phrases in there that are coming through when they are picked up: group health insurance, small group health insurance, and small business health insurance. So it's good to see that those phrases are getting picked up. We can jump to the next slide. We also want to provide a high-level performance overview on social media. So this is a comparison from the previous time frame, July 2020 to December 2020. And in pretty much all categories, we've seen some significant increase here. So you look at the chart here, it's a little tight to read, but we have impressions, reactions and likes, shares and retweets, and comments and replies. Impressions is a really good one to see that there's been some significant increase. Just pick out a couple numbers here, looking at LinkedIn, 5.7 thousand, up from 1.6. Facebook, 778, up from 243. And then Twitter and Instagram were really new at the time. And so there's been a significant increase as expected when comparing the previous period. The chart on the bottom left is also encouraging to see, as we've tried to increase some of our efforts around building a followership and creating more engagement. On the bottom left, that's showing followers, and it's a little bit tough to see, but we've seen significant increase. For instance, Facebook is up from a couple followers to 30. Followers for Twitter has also increased. Instagram has also significantly increased, up from about 9 to 120, up by 127, I believe it is. So we've made steady traction over the past several months in growing the social platforms as well. If there's no questions, I can jump to the last slide here. So just to wrap up and just kind of summarize some of the takeaways and next steps, the campaign performance has definitely remained steady as we wrapped up the calendar year, with the results on track or above our own benchmarks from the previous campaigns. Some of the positive results that I wanted to call out would be a significant uptick into direct traffic, so users that are directly typing in the URL to get to the shop website, which is always encouraging to see that people are mindful of that. And it also points to a little bit of a signal from efforts like outdoor billboards, broadcast, some of the activations with the yard goats, things like that. So it's positive to see the direct traffic pick up. We've also seen more users than ever coming into the website through the digital paid media campaign to the Contact Us page. We've tried to drive people over to that to try to encourage them to speak with a member of the team or to explore some of the plan options for themselves. So really what we call deep linking them into the site a little bit further beyond just the homepage so that we can create some more engagement there. We've continued to rotate in some of the new creative ad units into the campaign. Also, new content. We've developed a couple different articles, a couple more videos for both small business owners and brokers, and different messaging to maintain interest and drive engagement through paid media. These tactics are going to continue throughout June 2021 at various levels for a continued presence. For instance, right now we're going to take a little bit of a lower. We'll have a little bit lower melts in market, but that'll pick up in about April timeframe. We've also seen traction in those speaking opportunities, especially with local chambers at the start of the year. We have a couple opportunities right now with, I believe, the Wyndham Chamber and the Danbury Chamber, which is great to see. We also will continue to see some of those interview opportunities that I pointed out with Franco as well. And we'll continue to focus on other community organizations and business associations. Also want to look at in-person opportunities and local events as we get into the spring months. So that'll be another area of interest over the coming months. And then finally, as we look to build a deeper understanding of what Access LTCT small business has to offer, we're really going to start introducing new educational content, such as newsletters, a fact sheet, and we've built some segmented email campaigns as well to both primary audiences, such as SBOs and brokers, as well as secondary audiences, such as trade associations, legislative officials, and things like that as well. So want to start to roll that out over the coming months. And I believe that is the final slide. So any questions that I can help address?
This is Matt again.
Yep.
Will we see some of those media efforts or tactics coming our way while they go out? Last time we had asked, at least last time I was on the call, and it's been a while, we asked to see the information that was going out, like just forwarded to the group so we're aware of what's out there. Is there a way that can be done this time, especially as you said, you got some things going out to small business, you're introducing some newsletters and fact sheets. Would it be possible just to route around to this committee that material that's going out?
Yep, absolutely. I know John and I have talked about that. It's definitely a step that we want to make sure we take before we, put anything out there to the masses.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.
So since we don't have any more questions, Grant, we'll turn it over back to you.
Okay, well, all I need is a motion to adjourn. Thank you very much, Ben.
I can make that motion.
Okay, and I can second it. This is Pam. I'm joined late. I apologize.
Okay, yes, Pam, I saw your number show up. Okay, can we have a roll call vote?
Sure. Bram Ritter,
Yes.
Pamela Rosick,
Yes.
Matthew Katz,
Yes.
Kevin Galvin, Alan Skinner, Shelley Sweet. Okay, Kevin Skinner. Okay, Shelley Sweet, Paul Philpott, and Chris McKiernan.
Here.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for attending, and I'll see you next time. When will that be? In a couple months, John?
Couple months. Yep, every
All right.
2 months.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank
you.
Thank you all.
everybody.
Bye
Bye.
now.
Thank you.